picture this. You're just sitting on your couch, right?
Oh, I know the scene.
Yeah, it's late. The glow of your phone is literally the only light in the room, and your thumb is just moving on complete autopilot.
Just left, right, left, left, right.
Exactly. You've looked at, I don't know, 100 faces in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you feel absolutely nothing.
No spark at all.
None. No spark, no curiosity, not even annoyance anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just this hollow, really tired sensation.
It's brutal.
It really is. And if you're listening to this right now and nodding along, you, my friend, are deep in the trenches of dating in 2026.
You definitely are.
Because if you are just totally exhausted by the endless swiping, the dating fatigue and the absolute burnout that comes from letting a cold mathematical algorithm dictate your love life, you are definitely not alone.
No, you're part of a massive majority right now. It is a very specific, very modern type of exhaustion.
Yeah, it really is.
Because, think about it. We've spent the last decade optimizing the search. We made it faster, more frictionless. But somehow we've completely de-optimized the actual human connection.
Right, like the connection part got totally lost in the sauce.
Exactly. People are burning out because they are trying to process complex human relationships through a system that was fundamentally designed for rapid data sorting.
Like a filing cabinet.
Basically. We're treating human potential like we're rapidly flipping through a catalog for a new blender.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a catalog for a blender. That's a depressing image, but so accurate.
It is, and it's no wonder we're all feeling so profoundly drained by it.
I really want to pull on that thread, actually. That whole idea of treating people like commodities, because it's completely central to what we're looking at today.
Oh, absolutely.
We are doing a deep dive into a really fascinating new guide from Weddizer. It's put together by the creator, masterstevemind, I believe.
Yes, Master Steve.
Right. And it's titled Asking Friends to Swipe or Set You Up. So our mission today is to figure out if giving up just a little bit of control to your inner circle, blending that modern technology with old school real-life trust, might actually be the ultimate hack to finding a meaningful relationship right now.
I think it just might be. What's compelling about the Weddizer approach is that it really represents a necessary course correction.
How so?
Well, for years, the prevailing wisdom was that the answer to finding the right partner was simply access, right?
Like a numbers game.
Exactly, a numbers game.
Okay.
Access to a larger pool of candidates. And the apps gave us that infinite pool.
Right, the infinite scroll of faces.
But this guide zeroes in on a massive flaw in that logic, and that is that algorithms completely lack emotional intelligence.
Right.
They process data points, engagement metrics, location, but they do not process human nuance.
I was actually thinking about this whole algorithm problem right before we started today.
Yeah.
Because we used to compare this to buying a house based solely on the color of the front door.
Oh, right, the front door analogy.
Yeah. You see a nice smile, maybe a witty prompt about, I don't know, loving tacos, and you swipe right. It's like, ooh, I like that red door.
Yeah, but that metaphor doesn't even hold up anymore.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel adequate because it implies the algorithm actually wants you to find a house and settle down.
Right, that it wants you to succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, these systems are optimizing for engagement. They want you swiping. They don't want you happily riding off into the sunset and deleting the app.
That is the crucial mechanism people overlook. It's less like house hunting and more like, well, it's like a sugar diet.
A sugar diet? Tell me more about that.
The algorithm is serving you fast, easy dopamine hits. It says, oh, you like that red door. Here are 50 more red doors in your exact zip code.
Wow, yeah. Here's 50 more guys holding fish.
Exactly. But a diet of pure sugar provides zero nutritional sustenance.
You just crash.
You feel full for a second, and then you crash hard. When you remove emotional intelligence from the equation, you get endless consumption with zero meaningful connection.
And the cognitive load of that has to be staggering. I mean, we just aren't wired to evaluate whether someone could be a life partner in a fraction of a second.
Based on a 2D image, no less.
Right. Based on a couple of heavily filtered photos.
It's exactly the opposite of how we're wired. The brain gets deeply fatigued by having to make these rapid-fire, high-stakes decisions using completely incomplete, entirely superficial information.
So your brain is basically short-circuiting.
It creates a psychological cycle: hope, instant gratification, and then inevitable disappointment.
Oh, man.
And that cycle is exactly what we call dating app burnout. And it is incredibly taxing on your mental health.
So, okay, recognizing that the algorithm is essentially a sugar diet, that's great, but it doesn't entirely solve our problem, right?
No, it's just the first step.
Because if we just completely abandon the apps, throw our phones into the ocean, which I'm sure sounds tempting to some of you right now.
Just access to that
It's
mass
a dating pool. And our real-world social circles as adults are, frankly, relatively small. They shrink so much. So the question becomes, how do we keep the scale of the internet but borrow the emotional intelligence of the real world?
Right.
And that leads us directly to what Weddizer calls the 2 pillars of friend-assisted dating.
The 2 pillars. Now, the first pillar is the one that usually elicits a very, let's say, visceral reaction from people.
Oh, I bet.
It's literally asking your friends to swipe for you. You sit down, you hand over your unlocked phone, open your dating app, and you just let your friend make the swiping decisions on your behalf.
Okay, if you're listening right now and thinking, I would rather walk barefoot over hot coals than let my friend see my dating app messages, I completely understand.
It is terrifying for a lot of people.
Truly terrifying. But then there's the second pillar, which is much more palatable, I think.
Yes. The second pillar is getting set up. It's your classic, traditional offline introduction to someone in their trusted network.
Right. Hey, I know a great guy from work. That kind of thing.
Exactly. But the core thesis of the Weddizer Guide is about combining these approaches. You use the technological reach of the app, but you outsource the curation part to your friends.
Outsource the curation. I like that phrasing.
And the psychology behind why this works is really fascinating because friends offer a completely fresh external perspective.
Which we definitely don't have for ourselves.
No, we don't. When we create our own profiles and we swipe for ourselves, we are blinded by our own insecurities, our own deeply ingrained habits.
And our physical preferences, I assume.
Yes, our localized physical preferences. We get stuck.
Okay, I actually have to stop you there and push back a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because let's play this out in the real world. We all have that one friend, right?
Boy. Yeah.
A friend with absolutely terrible taste in partners. The one whose relationship history is basically a string of walking red flags.
We all know one.
Right. So if I hand my phone to my friend who, loves drama and chaos, aren't I just outsourcing my love life to someone who is going to curate a list of absolute nightmares for me?
That is the natural fear. But it assumes your friend applies their own romantic dysfunction to your life.
Wait, they don't.
Not necessarily. Often people are incredibly poor at managing their own lives, but make excellent, really objective advisors for others.
Oh, that's actually so true. Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. But really, the true benefit here is about breaking patterns. We all have unconscious biases. We all get stuck in a type.
Oh, the dreaded type.
And let's be honest, if your particular type was actually leading to successful long-term relationships, you wouldn't be dealing with dating burnout in the first place.
Ouch. I mean, fair point. So you're saying my type might actually be the problem.
Often it is the exact problem. We repeatedly choose the exact same traits that lead to the exact same dead ends.
Because it's comfortable.
Because they feel familiar. We have what I like to call aesthetic kryptonite.
Aesthetic kryptonite. I love that.
Right. Maybe you always swipe on the brooding musician type. Even though you fundamentally, as a person, need someone reliable who communicates well and, pays their bills on time.
Right. The brooding musician is usually not that guy.
Exactly. So a trusted friend acts as a circuit breaker for that bad habit.
I see. So the friend isn't susceptible to my specific kryptonite.
Not at all.
They look at the brooding musician and think, absolutely not. We dealt with the fallout of the last one for 6 months. I am not swiping right on this.
Precisely. They are acting as the nutritionist for your love life. They are cutting out the empty sugar.
That makes a lot of sense.
They prioritize long-term compatibility over your immediate superficial attraction triggers.
Right. They see the bigger picture.
They might swipe right on someone you would have instantly bypassed because that person's first photo didn't give you that instant dopamine hit.
Because maybe the lighting was bad or they were wearing a weird hat.
Yeah. But your friend reads the bio and sees the exact sense of humor you need or the stability you actually crave. It broadens your options by challenging your own blind spots.
Okay, I'm sold on the theory. But surely we can't just toss our unlocked phones into a crowded room and just hope for the best.
No, definitely not.
If we're going to try this Weddizer approach, there have to be guardrails,
Yeah.
right?
The preparation phase is critical here. You cannot expect a friend to successfully navigate this if you give them terrible tools to work with.
Right, that makes sense.
The guide outlines a whole phase of strategic pre-work.
And a big part of that pre-work is actually optimizing the profile itself, which, makes total sense when you think about it.
It's step 1.
If my profile consists of 3 blurry group photos where literally no one can tell which one I am,
The worst.
and a bio that just says, fluent in sarcasm, my friend can't help me. I'm getting them anything to sell.
Exactly. Because your profile isn't just speaking to potential matches anymore. In this scenario, it is the ambassador your friend is using to represent you.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. An ambassador.
If the profile doesn't accurately reflect the most authentic, engaging version of you, even the most socially astute friend won't be able to secure a good match.
Right, they're fighting an uphill battle.
It's like sending a brilliant salesperson out into the field with a brochure that's completely illegible.
You're setting them up to fail.
You are. You have to provide high-quality photos, a really thoughtful bio, and clearly highlight your actual interests.
Okay, so we fixed the brochure. The next step is choosing the salesperson.
Yes.
And this is where the Weddizer guide gets really specific about who you should be asking to do this. I like to call this assembling your board of directors.
I love that term. And it's true, it cannot just be the person you happen to be getting coffee with that day.
No casual acquaintances.
The criteria for this board are strict. They must know your personality on a really deep level.
Okay.
They must explicitly understand your long-term relationship goals, and above all, they must be fiercely honest.
Fiercely honest. So that basically rules out the hype friend, right?
Oh, completely.
You know the one I mean. The friend who just tells you that you're perfect, you never do anything wrong, and everyone is lucky to even look at you.
Look, the hype friend is wonderful for a night out,
Oh, the best.
but they are terrible for this task. You need the friend who will look at a potential match and say, I know you think you want to date a marathon runner, but you complain when we have to walk more than 4 blocks to a restaurant.
I feel personally attacked, but yes.
Let's swipe left and find someone who likes movie marathons instead.
Yeah.
You need someone grounded in the reality of who you are, not the aspirational version of yourself.
That level of honesty is, honestly, a little intimidating. But I can see why it's necessary to break those bad swiping loops.
It's vital.
But let's talk about control for a second. Because let's say I find the perfect, honest friend. I'm still feeling a little nervous about just letting them loose on my app.
It requires a lot of trust.
What if they swipe right on my boss? Or my ex? Or, I don't know, my cousin?
Well, this touches on the core concept of autonomy. The Weddizer strategy is not about surrendering your free will.
Good, because I'd like to keep that.
In fact, the guide explicitly warns against giving full, unchecked control to friends. Your dating life still has to reflect your core values and your hard boundaries.
Right, so you have to communicate those.
Before you even hand over the phone, you have to establish the rules of engagement.
Like setting the deal breakers up front.
Yes, exactly. You outline your non-negotiables, age ranges, deal breakers around having kids, lifestyle habits like smoking or religious preferences.
Okay, so you draw the map.
You are essentially giving your friends a safe, clearly marked playground to operate within. You are saying to them, use your emotional intelligence to find someone great, but do it within these parameters.
I really love that. It takes it from feeling like a dictatorship where my friends are just running my life to feeling like a collaboration.
Exactly. It's a team effort.
We are a team trying to solve a problem together.
And the most successful way to foster that collaboration is to actually review the matches together.
Oh, so you don't just hand it over and walk away.
No, it doesn't have to be this solitary task where they take your phone into the other room and lock the door.
That sounds way less scary.
Sit on the couch, order some takeout, and have them narrate their process to you. Ask them why they swiped yes on a particular person.
Oh, that would be so interesting.
That conversation alone can be incredibly revealing. You might learn things about how you are perceived by the people who love you that you never, ever realized.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so let's follow this timeline through because this is where the rubber meets the road.
Let's do it.
We've done the pre-work, the profile is dialed in, the board of directors is chosen, the deal breakers are clearly set.
Got check and check.
We're on the couch, my friend takes the phone, they find someone who looks like a fantastic match, and they swipe right. The screen flashes, it's a match.
The exciting part.
What happens in the next 5 minutes? Who types the first message?
There is a very strict protocol for this post-match phase in the guide, and it is totally non-negotiable.
Okay, lay it on me.
You must handle all the conversations.
Okay, I'm really glad we were clarifying that. Because otherwise, this turns into a weird modern-day Cyrano de Bergerac situation incredibly fast.
It gets weird very quickly if you don't do this.
If my friend is doing the chatting, it just feels like a massive bait and switch for the poor person on the other end.
It is a bait and switch. And it instantly violates the core principle of authenticity. The friend's job is curation and introduction.
And that's it.
That is exactly where their role ends. If they start crafting messages for you, the match is building a rapport with your friend's wit, their conversational rhythm, and their tone.
Right. And then you show up on the date.
And when that person eventually meets you in real life, the disconnect will be immediate and really jarring. It sets the entire connection up for failure based on false pretenses.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So the human connection ultimately has to be your human
You
connection.
have to own it.
The friend just, unlocked the door. But even with a trusted friend acting as a highly skilled filter, things aren't always going to be perfect.
No, it's still dating.
Right. So how do we manage the expectations around this whole process?
The most common pitfall people face with friend-assisted dating is feeling pressured to ignore their own intuition just to please the friend who helped them.
Oh, I could totally see that happening. You don't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly. But your friends are there to gently nudge you out of your comfort zone. At the end of the day, your feelings are the only ones that actually matter.
Right. It's still your life.
If your friend is incredibly excited about a match they found, but you start chatting with the person and feel absolutely zero connection, you have to trust your gut.
That could be so awkward, though. Like, hey, thanks for finding this person. I know you worked hard on this, but they actually bore me to tears.
It requires clear, honest communication with your friends. You aren't obligated to date someone just because they look perfect on paper to an outside observer.
That's a good reminder.
You have to remain open-minded, sure, but you aren't a hostage to your friends' selections. Dating fundamentally remains an exercise in vulnerability and odds. Outsourcing the swiping doesn't magically guarantee a 100% success rate.
It just changes the quality of the odds. You're working with a much better pool of candidates.
Exactly. And there is a flip side to this expectation management, especially regarding the second pillar we talked about, the classic offline setup.
Right, the real-life introduction.
If a friend goes out of their way to tap into their personal network and set you up with someone they know in real life, you must follow through with genuine effort.
Oh, absolutely. Because now social capital is on the line.
Precisely. If you flake on a real-life setup or you show up and act completely disengaged and rude, you are showing your friend that you don't value their effort or their judgment.
You're basically burning a bridge.
You are. Even if the date turns out to be a total dud, showing up, being respectful, and giving it a fair shot builds trust. It keeps that avenue of community-assisted dating open for the future.
That makes perfect sense. So if we zoom out from the mechanics of all this, the profiles, the swiping, the specific setups, and look at the broader cultural landscape of 2026, it becomes very clear why the Weddizer approach is gaining so much traction right now.
It's part of a much larger trend.
We are witnessing a massive shift toward community-based dating. For the better part of a decade, we put our blind faith in technology to solve the deeply human problem of loneliness.
We really did.
We somehow convinced ourselves that better code would just naturally equal better love.
And we discovered, the hard way, that the code just made us feel infinitely more isolated. It turned romantic pursuit into a solitary, gamified task performed in the dark.
Like a weird casino game.
Exactly. But the pendulum is finally swinging back. People are realizing that trust and personal vouching are becoming far, far more valuable than algorithmic matching.
It's kind of like the ultimate hybrid model, right? We aren't throwing away the tech entirely.
No, not at all.
The apps are incredibly useful for seeing who is actually out there in the world. But we're finally admitting that we need our community to help us filter the noise.
It integrates the sheer reach of modern digital tools with the emotional intelligence that only exists in real-world human relationships.
The best of both worlds.
You use the app to access the network, but you use your trusted inner circle to find the signal in the static.
I love that, the signal and the static. So, bringing this all together for you, the listener, let's distill the core takeaways from this deep dive today.
Let's do it.
The guide makes a highly compelling case that asking friends to swipe or set you up is no longer just a quirky experiment or something you do for laughs at a party when you're bored.
No, it's serious.
It is a powerful, intentional strategy to completely bypass the fatigue of modern dating apps.
By strategically giving up a small amount of control, you can reduce your own unconscious biases, escape the trap of your usual aesthetic type, and build deeper, more sustainable connections.
Right. You optimize your profile so you have a good ambassador. Yep.
You carefully select friends who truly understand your goals to act as your board of directors.
And you set clear boundaries. And crucially, You maintain your authenticity by handling the actual conversations yourself. You let them curate, but you connect.
Ultimately, it fundamentally changes the experience. It takes an isolating, often very lonely task and turns it into a shared, supportive journey.
Which is so much better.
You are no longer swiping in a void by yourself. You have a team of people actively invested in your happiness, helping you look for it.
It brings a sense of joy and a lot of intentionality back into a process that had honestly become so sterile for so many of us.
It really does.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a specific scenario to ponder. We spent this time talking about how letting someone else take the wheel can reveal your own blind spots.
Yeah.
Think about your closest circle right now. If you had to unlock your phone this very second, open your dating app,